Absolutely.
May I come in, sir?
Aajao, come.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Durga, please.
Thank you.
sit.
Thank you.
तो एक्चुअली आपका डैफ 1 हमारे पास नहीं है, आपका इंटरव्यू इज इन हिंदी,
नहीं, English.
इन इंग्लिश. अच्छा, तो आप चाहिए तो अपना यू कैन रिमूव द मास्क.
Thank you, sir.
ओके. सो you have done mechanical engineering.
Yes, sir.
So electric vehicle will be coming under mechanical engineering?
Mechanical engineering will have a part to play, but however there are other fields also, like electrical and electronics will
It's
also.
mostly electric and
electronics engineering.
What is the most important component of an electric vehicle?
The lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion battery.
Lithium-ion battery. So, is there a good now advancement in lithium-ion battery, because people are talking of its electric vehicle in such a big way? Then are there some major advancements taking place in lithium-ion battery?
The current advancement is they are planning for lithium sulfur battery, and lithium sulfur battery is less polluting, means less polluting in terms of extractions and all this, and it has higher efficiency and higher rake up capacity, means the storage capacity, and higher shelf life also.
Higher this thing and faster charging as well.
Yes, faster charging.
Can you tell me in what way you can apply your knowledge of mechanical engineering to administration?
Mechanical engineering taught me to think critically about a situation, to delve deep into all those things. Like I have learned the techniques like the root cause analysis or the fishbone diagram. I feel they will be very much useful in administration also, because when we are facing any problem, it would be a nice technique to delve deep into those and analyze all the nitty-gritties. And also the planning and scheduling that I have learnt in mechanical engineering, and later also in my career when I was assistant manager in Maruti Suzuki, they will be highly useful.
From Odisha?
Yes, sir.
Odisha. Okay, supposing you join as collector somewhere in Odisha, and you are told that your district is extremely prone to cyclones, and the season where there is a peak of this, it comes in about 4 months time. So how would you plan this? Meeting cyclone.
The number one thing that I will do is the checkup of the early dissemination, the warning dissemination system.
Early warning system.
Early warning system.
Okay, one.
Number two is the inter-departmental and inter-group coordination between the ODRAF team, that is the Odisha Disaster Response Action Force, and the Odisha Disaster Management Force, so that we are well prepared and we have a SOP in hand to how to deal in all those things, and we will plan in hand beforehand about the evacuation of the people from the coastal areas, and we will also check the cyclone superstructures whether they are in correct conditions or not.
Cyclone shelters.
Cyclone shelters. And one
okay.
of the most important thing that we'll do, we will procure and store the dry rations beforehand.
Very good. Next.
So that they will be used.
Next.
And also we will also arrange that maybe once the after cyclone also how we can rehabilitate the people, and also if possible the psychological counseling we will plan beforehand.
Psychological counseling is not, that stage is not reached. For meeting the cyclone, you should make what else you should make sure that you have the following things available. What you said about food, dry ration.
Yes.
What else?
The team also has all those, the electric wire cutters and the RCC pipe cutters. Those all things are also needed. Like if any tree has fallen, something that has to be cleared beforehand. The electric poles and everything. So we have to get it closed immediately.
Okay, tell me, what is the there is a cyclone relief program which Odisha government had implemented. Are you aware of that? Mitigation program It is a World Bank assisted program where all the huts were converted in the border areas into pakka houses. You have not been. What is the function of mangroves?
The mangroves are the part of the ecotone areas. They are they lie in between the land surface and the sea surface. They have a very useful functions. Also in the cyclone, they prevent all the cyclones and the sea water progression and the flooding. And also they are a very rich source of the biodiversity as they are on the edge. So edge effect, what they say in environment, where the animals and plant species of both the ecosystems, the land and the sea surface, thrive there. So apart from that, it is also a rich source of the fuel wood and other economic products also, like it is also, they are used for the handicraft products also.
Okay, finally tell me some, okay, you have offered foreign service as your second preference, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me, what do you think, how soon the war between Ukraine and Russia will be over? How soon will this be over?
In the current circumstances, I do not know, because what the whole of the experts had also predicted that it will end very soon, had not materialized. So we aren't very sure that when it will end.
Okay, very good. So what are the factors which you will keep in mind before deciding what is going on? Who are the main players?
I'm not clear about the questions.
No, the question is, who will decide that, who are the main players who will decide that the war should now get over?
I feel the stakeholders involved, they are the Russia and Ukraine, they are the main parties. If they can come to a compromise, which the back channel diplomacy is also taking place and they had met also many times. If that is materializing, that would be one factor. The other multilateral institutions like UN, and the UN has a greater role to play. However, I feel the economic considerations between the sanctions and all on the Russia, and if they will snowball into larger things in the coming days, that might also be one of the factors when the war might come to an end very soon. Because if
is this financial sanction, has it been overplayed by US? This financial sanction card, has it been overplayed by US?
I feel they have played as per their national or strategic interest, because they want peace in Europe. In fact,
but in the sense that they have put this, how does this financial sanction work?
Number one, if you will see, the one of the most striking sanction that they put is the disruption in the SWIFT system, the financial thing, that is also part of the sanction. So because of which Russia is cut off from the economic transactions from the rest of the.
What does SWIFT stand for?
I'm not aware.
Okay, so therefore what has happened?
So that is in fact basically the messenger system between the banks.
Correct.
So,
but despite the financial sanction, we find now very often the countries against whom financial sanction is imposed by US, they are able to still manage their way around. In fact, Russian ruble, after having such a massive fall, has actually bounced back.
Yes, because they are diversifying all those things, because India is also very keen on rupee-ruble trade and other factors, because there might also be a role of China to play in to stabilize the Russian economy as such. However, in the long run, it might face some setbacks.
Okay. Thank you.
Durga Prasad, you are interested in the root cause analysis, rightly so, because that's the root of mechanical engineering.
Yes.
What was the root cause of the Ukrainian crisis?
The root cause of Ukrainian crisis, what the Russians feel per se, is the eastward movement of the NATO, and the clear perception that the nuclear threat that might hover around Russia in the coming days if Ukraine is part of the NATO. However, for many others, they see that the root cause is also the despotism of Russia, as they say, to occupy the Black Sea and occupy.
What is your opinion? It's very good that you have analyzed the two causes, but since the two causes are so different from each other, what is your viewpoint?
I feel everything is contributing to that, because the root cause, I feel that at the end everything is converging into the same thing. So I feel everything is a part of the root cause.
Both the factors were responsible.
Yes, sir. In some measures, both the factors are responsible.
So Durga Prasad, if I say that slowly the parliament is becoming the rubber stamp of the executive, what would be your reaction to such a statement?
In fact, if I do not feel that such statement is correct.
How
as
would
such.
you analyze this statement for me?
I feel that.
In what way is parliament? Normally in a parliamentary democracy, it is said that the parliament is supreme.
Yes, sir. In our case, it is the constitution that is the supreme. However, I do feel that there are sporadic disruptions nowadays increasing, and even the Honorable Vice President also raised issue that the Rajya Sabha is functioning with a, there are more disruptions in the Rajya Sabha. However,
We
I
are
feel.
not talking about disruptions. What I am talking about is parliament is slowly becoming the rubber stamp of the executive. How would you evaluate this statement?
I feel the functioning is going as per the mandate of the people, because at the end the parliament is chosen by the people, and as per the mandate of the people it is going.
Issue of ordinances, lack of consultation by select committees, standing committees, is that a good parameter?
I feel they can also be, they can also
From
amount as
those
good parameters.
perspectives, would you like to make any value judgment? How are we faring on these issues?
Although with respect to ordinances, we have our own safekeeping that they must be passed by the parliament after 6 weeks.
6 months.
6 months, sorry. 6 months. And however, I feel with respect to the select committees, yes, there should be more consultation and consultative approach that should be used.
Now, if I use 3 words, if they ring a bell in you, then we will continue the question. Amazon, Future Retail, Reliance. Do they ring a bell in you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hmm?
Yes, sir. This is with respect to the selling of Future Retails Group to Amazon, because Amazon was a partner of Future Retails. They had invested a huge amount of money. Later on, Reliance was also interested in buying it.
And what have recently the banks are doing
With respect to
Future Retail?
I'm not aware about that development.
Was Future Retail, since you know a bit about it, I am getting tempted to ask, was Future Retail legally right in leasing off its outlets to Reliance? Even the banks, I think, have objected to that.
Yes, in fact, the banks have objected. In fact, the Honorable Court has also said that Amazon is the correct party, and
Has the court said that? Are you sure? I mean, you have the green card on this, in the sense that if you have the card not to answer, but if you answer, just think about it. It will be add to your.
Can I get a moment to think?
Sure.
I feel the thing that the Future Retail and Reliance that they've done, that was quite unethical in different parameters, because Amazon had a existing agreement and investment rules that is as per the international rules also. So it would have been better on the part of Future Retails if they would have brought both Amazon and Reliance to a talking tables rather than going one-sided.
And that's exactly what the Supreme Court is also trying. Now, let me ask a last question. India is a member of Quad, and India is also a member of BRICS, and that is the only common member between the two. Now, will it be possible for India to balance between the objectives of BRICS and the objectives of Quad?
I feel yes, India can balance both the objectives because.
What are the objectives of Quad and what are the objectives of BRICS?
BRICS was more or less, it is about the developing economies and more in economic partnerships and maybe growing into developed nations. With respect to Quad, that is also based on economic partnerships in the Asia Pacific region. However, nowadays a military angle is also being added to it.
Is the economic partnership in Quad more important, significant, or the military angle?
As far as I know,
Defense.
Defense.
Angle. I would not like to use the word military.
Yes.
Which is more significant as far as Quad is concerned?
In the common parlance, it is the defense that is being viewed as the most significant part of Quad. However, India has shown its the resistance that not to being portrayed as a defense partner in Quad as such. So, however, I feel the economic things is what India focuses now on.
Only one concern, and that's my last question on this, is that the Quad is purely on cornering China, whereas China is an important member of BRICS. That is why I am getting a bit confused as to how India will be able to balance the two. The entire attention of Quad is on containing China. Since you have given foreign service as your number 2 priority, that's why I'm asking this question.
I feel India is taking India has the priorities all clear. So it has also shown restraint in being labeled as a military, the defense partner of Quad. So more or less, it is all about economic partnerships. And yes, the primary goal of Quad, as it seems now, is cornering China. However, India is non-partisan in all those approaches, as much as I feel, because India has also a different thing that India is the only country in Quad which has borders with China as such. Rest all countries don't have the borders with China. So it would be wise and good for India to walk on the tightrope, balancing all the interests.
Thank you.
Okay, Durga Prasad, you have interesting hobbies. Jagannatha cult, Upanishads, Advaita Vedanta, very interesting. Let's have an interesting conversation now in the next 5 minutes, okay? Your choice is, second choice is foreign service also. Very good, congratulations. Very few choose foreign service as a second choice.
Thank you, sir.
What is the connection between the Kohinoor diamond, Lord Jagannatha, and the UK?
The Maharaja Ranjit Singh had willed the Kohinoor diamond to be given to the Lord Jagannath temple. However, when he died, his kingdom was taken over by Britain, and before the diamond could be handed over to Lord Jagannath temple, it was taken back by the UK, the United Kingdom. So it is there in UK till now. Museum.
Who was the ruler then?
I'm not sure about it. Maybe King Dalip Singh.
No, UK king.
Oh, UK. I was telling about Punjab.
No.
No, I'm not aware about it.
Okay, not aware. Okay, tell me the story of the beating heart of Lord Jagannatha.
It is presumed that Lord Jagannath basically is an idol made up of wood, and it is presumed that the heart of Lord Krishna from the Dwapar Yuga is preserved in the idol of Lord Jagannath till date, and it is for the same reason that in the Navakalevar function, that is the wooden idols are changed every 12 to 19 years, that beating heart is changed from the old idol to the new idols.
Why is it done? What is the significance of it?
If I will venture into the scientific realm, it is said that the wood gets destroyed within 12 to 19 years. So the new wood that is there, so there must be a connecting link.
How is the wood selected?
There is a very...
It's very interesting.
Yes.
Tell us.
There is a very clear SOP that is mentioned for the wood. For the different deities, the woods are of different colors. For if I'll give for Lord Jagannath, the wood is mostly it is of the neem tree. The wood is of black color, mostly the dark color. It would have 4 branches. It would have the symbol of the Sankh, that is a conch, the chakra, that is the discus, the mace, that is gada, and of lotus.
How does the head priest or the person who is choosing the tree choose it?
So he prays to the goddess Mangala in the Kakatpur district, and in the night, and they chant what they say is the Swapnavati mantra to get the Swapna, that is the dream. And in the night they get a dream that you
may get it, or one person gets it?
Yeah, the head priest gets it, and he gets the direction on which side they have to proceed.
Very good, very good. What led to the end of the Yadava clan?
It is said, if we will delve deep into, it was the cuts of Gandhari, that is the first thing. Later it was
Where is Gandhari from?
Gandhari from Gandhar district, Gandhar, that is the current Afghanistan.
Very good. Go on now.
And later it was due to the ego of Pradyumna, that he tried to befool sage Vishwamitra that he was having a womb, he was having a baby in his womb.
Okay, you know the story. Very good. So then iron.
You see how
He gave birth to the iron mace. And
Very good. Okay. What can you tell me about this Kanda Purana and Bandasura?
that I am not aware of.
Tarikasura?
Tarkasur?
Hmm.
Tarkasur, Lord Shiva killed no, it was Pradyumna who killed Tarkasur after this. I am not aware about it. Sorry.
No. Okay, let's move on from here. Okay. What is line of credit?
Line of credit is the economic assistance that a country gives to another country, which is in maybe in some debt or maybe for foreign exchange things.
How is it different from a loan?
A line of credit is a type of loan only, but however they provide, if the country wishes to take, they can take a part out of it. However, the whole amount
Take
is
only
available.
a part.
The whole amount is available to them. They can take as per their requirement.
Is there a time frame, time period, or anything like that?
Yes, there is a time frame.
What is the time frame?
That the country decides, maybe 10 years, if I am not wrong, India has provided to Sri Lanka, and for Russia also India had provided line of credit.
Very good. Okay, what is the difference between, is there a difference first and foremost between a high commission and an embassy?
Yes, there is a difference, because
the difference?
the High Commission are posted in the areas which were in the erstwhile British Empire, and the ambassadors are for the rest of the country.
Okay, very good. Last question. Think and answer. Yes. If you don't know it, if you use logic, you will get it.
Sure, sir.
Okay. There is one city in the world where India has 3 ambassadors at all times. Which is that city?
If I may.
Do you know the answer?
No, I am
Okay,
not.
logical guess. Come on.
It should be Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Do you even recognize Jerusalem? Do you recognize Jerusalem as capital?
No,
Then?
not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Durga Prasad, you have an interesting dad. You are quite into philosophy, I think, Indian philosophy. Okay, just a very logical question which comes to my mind. How does your knowledge of Upanishads and Advaita Vedanta going to help you in your day-to-day administration? Which aspect of this philosophy?
Number one, Advaita Vedanta means that is non-dualism, that I am not different from others. The first thing, it ends my any sense of discrimination that if I would have perceived in the administration. So for me, administration would be non-discriminatory, and this I have learned from Advaita Vedanta. Next, respect to others. If I may tell something in Sanskrit, in Taittiriya Upanishad, the wordings that we get, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava. This respect would be a determinant in the more strengthening of the public trust with the people. So the Advaita Vedanta will help me in strengthening the public trust with the people. And however, later Advaita Vedanta makes one a much more better civil servant, because by knowing that you are into the philosophy, your mind is calm, you are practicing meditation, so you are taking a very better decision that is not mired with emotional upbringings.
Okay, I just want to know what is meant by Jagannath cult. What do you mean by this Jagannath cult which you mentioned here? Interest about Jagannath cult and cultural syncretism.
Jagannath cult per se, it is the whole lore of folklore or something, a cult type of thing which is evolved in Odisha, because in Odisha the dance form, the Odissi, the cuisine, the songs, everything has evolved around Lord Jagannath itself. So the Jagannath cult is the symbolism of all the lores.
Does it mean God for all, for everyone?
Yes.
I think the essence is this.
Yes.
Now, if this means that Jagannath God is for everyone, I see that the Rath Yatra, the pulling of the Rath, is performed only by a certain section of the temple priests. Why such discrimination then?
The pulling of the chariot by temple priests only happened during the last 2 years due to the COVID restrictions. However, in the preceding years, it was done by all people, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, and sex also. Just because we had
Okay, coming to that COVID year, when the Rath Yatra was performed only by I think 500 handful of temple priests, had you been at Puri at that point of time, could you have managed the Yatra in some other manner in order to follow the COVID protocol and take all measures against the spread?
I feel the stance that was taken back there was quite perfect in its approach, because at the end it's not all about religion, it's also about saving the precious human lives and the elderly and the disabled also who would have come to the yatra. And this decision was taken after the intervention of the Honorable Supreme Court also back then. So I feel the approach that was taken was quite perfect and quite balanced in its nature.
My last question to you, Durga Prasad, since you are into meditation, concentrative and contemplative meditation, how do you think you can hold a camp for meditation for the schools of your district and make it a regular practice and part and parcel of the daily curriculum of school?
The meditation is all about knowing oneself more deeply.
What steps will take?
Yeah. So the steps that I would take the steps that I would take, that I will inform all the schools regarding this thing. The first thing that we will do is to train a perfect person in every schools, the one who can take forward this legacy. And we will also assign a free period maybe in a day, maybe 10 to 15 minutes every day, not more than that, the prayer times where we can practice the meditation. And one thing that I have learnt in my career progression, the progress happens only when the efforts are appreciated and it brings a meaningful change in the life. So we will track the things after 1 month, 2 months, what meaningful changes the meditation has brought in, and I feel that would be the most important accelerator that will help in making meditation a sustainable practice in the school and all things.
Thank you.
So, Durga Prasad, when is your interview?
Sir, on May 13th.
May 13th. There is still a lot of time.
Yes.
And this is the first time you are appearing for UPSC interview?
Yes.
First time. How old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
Okay, I think you're a very good candidate. You did very well in this thing. I think one of some of your outstanding qualities, I would say, one is that you are very, very cool. You don't get easily ruffled, or so I think probably all your meditation and all that, and I think you do not allow setbacks in the course of the interview to kind of in any way adversely impact your performance. That's another very good quality I noticed. Your knowledge base, broadly speaking, is fairly good. I think it is more than enough to have a meaningful and long conversation. You also come out to be honest in what you are saying and what you are doing, what you have given as your interest and hobby. Obviously, one could see that you are very passionate about some of these things. So they were not just given to fill up those positions, space. So these are all your strengths. I would say that there is only one thing where I feel that you need to do some work, and that is you need to structure your answers better.
Yes.
Because, for example, you said that as a mechanical engineer, you go to the root cause of the problem and you see how to kind of structure a solution. And in that context, I asked you about the cyclone relief. Now, you gave a reply very fast, and you broadly covered everything. I mean, quite a lot of things. But if you had structured it, it would have been a great reply. So the first thing which you said, early warning system, so that should be readiness, and readiness is not only early warning system, but also some kind of training to people, because there is a lot of first aid required. People do get hurt, some fractures, some this thing. So that also comes at the readiness. Then what comes in the response? With response, you have to restore the roads, you have to restore the electricity. So for that, what kind of equipment is your telephone lines? So that you are able to kind of pass that message on. So if you structure then that will come. Some of it you covered in the end.
Yeah.
You came to one or two of them. I think electricity you didn't cover and telecom you didn't cover.
Yes.
Then relief, immediate relief you have to provide, first of all, and in response hospitals, readiness of the hospital. Relief, what kind of, so you, in the end, that also was added as an afterthought, was food, but you should also have medicines.
Medicines.
You should have some place, in the cyclone shelter itself, you should store water. So, so the point is, what I am trying to say is structure the answer.
Correct.
The same thing I felt also about the Ukraine-Russia reply. Because you were broadly right, nobody can predict, who can predict? But if you have to structure that answer, you first need to see who are the main players. And I think later on, when Honorable Member goaded you a little more towards that, you said that what is the root cause of this problem? The root cause also tells you who is the other major player, that is US.
Yes, correct.
So it is not only because NATO does whatever, it is largely guided by US. So it is not, but whereas you completed your answer only in the equation between the Russia and Ukraine. So the point being this, you knew the answer in a much better answer, you knew, but you did not structure and you did not give yourself that opportunity.
Correct,
to
sir.
put it rightly. And I think if you just do that, because there will be 3-4 questions in the interview which can take you up by another notch of 10-20 marks like that. And every time you cross that barrier, you go to a higher orbit. So don't deny yourself that opportunity in your eagerness to reply quickly. So that is one thing. And one more, I think, word of caution I must say. You'll do well, I'm sure, but do not if you are sailing very well, you're nicely, then do not allow, sometimes overconfidence comes. You don't suffer from overconfidence generally, that's what my reading is, but it can come. And that may prompt you to give a reply which can bring you suddenly down. So be cautious, don't get carried away by your sense of relief or success. Okay? You'll do very well, my best wishes to you.
Sir, any such instance of overconfidence during
No,
this?
I didn't see any overconfidence now, but as I read your personality, I feel that some people, because they are doing everything very rightly, they tend to sometimes become
sweetly overconfident.
Sweetly overconfident.
Getting the point?
Understood, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
No, I said it in all seriousness.
No, yes, sir.
Now, Durga Prasad, I just want to add 2 lines to what has been said. First is, what happens is, in the initial 5 minutes, or just about 5 to 10 minutes, they will place your level, They will first start with 145, 150, 155, 160. In 5 minutes, they will see that you are a 170 plus, 175 plus. Then the difficulty level of the questions will be tailored to see where are you between 175 to 200 and 200 plus. You will see the difficulty level of the questions increase. And that is where you should be, you are well prepared that way, you have the personality to tackle the difficulty level questions, and I'm certain you will do well. Only maintain, which you did in the present interview, maintain the momentum all through. Never let your attention, your concentration, which again you did in this today's interview, your concentration was bang on, your attention was bang on. And towards the end, if the interview is going well, which you yourself will feel, then be a bit safe that there may be some trick questions. Get the point?
Got it, sir.
Towards the point, and there can be sometimes a trick question, and therefore you have to be careful. Towards the end, it's better to play safe rather than hit a 6. But I leave the judgment to you because you are a fairly rational, you are a thinking person, and I leave the judgment totally. I'm just giving you advice, but don't be totally bound by it. If towards the end you feel like going in for it, just go for it, and that takes the spark in it. One more thing is that they may see in you a lot of ethics and righteousness, and they may confront you with a case study approach.
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, administration is realism.
Correct.
So I'm just giving you an idea that they may feel that, well, you are good and all that, but there is an element of ethics and idealism and righteousness. Let's see how he handles the real world. And they may confront you with a case study. That's the time you have to be careful what you answer. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Durga Prasad, a lot has already been said. You're very good. I just want you to go back and take a look at this video.
Sure. I'll just note down.
No, why you need to note down?
No,
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 Get the video.
He's got that Fatak's notebook.
you'll
Just note.
You'll get the video. You'll get the video, okay? The way you're reacting and engaging now is very different to the way you were reacting and engaging during the actual course of the interaction. Throughout 25 minutes, you didn't smile even once.
नहीं तुमसे बात करने बीच में he was smiling. He was happy once he started talking about
Only about that subject.
On that subject.
Because he knew he was so thorough with that subject, he doesn't even have to think.
Also.
He doesn't even have to think. So now you're smiling and you're being bubbly and all of that. Just see if you can be like that. See, if you can't be like this, then you can't help it. But this brings out your true personality. Hai na?
Sure, sir.
And like the Honorable Chairman also just pointed out, that particular interaction when you know the subject at the back of your hand, the way you interacted was very different. Okay? Just remember that. Few points to be cautious about. You've already been cautioned, but some more to add to that. One is don't bluff whatever happens.
Sure, sir.
Okay? And second, don't commit a blunder that is in your hands. Don't say something outlandish, overtly controversial. That is completely in your hands. Please don't let that happen. Because that, even if your interaction is going here, can just bring it crashing down. One big mistake. Just be cautious of that. Otherwise, you're very good. I'll be surprised if you don't make it.
Thank you.
All the best.
Sir, any controversial answer I gave now?
No, you didn't give any controversial answer. Nothing
No,
at all. I'm just saying, just in case, be careful is what I'm saying. Don't fall for traps.
Sure, sure.
Don't get carried away because the interaction is going well. Okay? All the best.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Durga Prasad, it was nice interacting with you, but I have one suggestion to you, like Sir has said. Prioritizing what is important, number one, and then actually you have to frame your answers.
Okay.
Like I asked you about Jagannath Kant and cultural syncretism. You were actually reciting a very long story on it. You have to have some precise statements on what this philosophy actually means, cultural syncretism. Like what I gathered was that Lord of all.
Last one was
Sort of.
Syncretism. So you need to have such one-liners actually. They are not there to listen such long stories about
Ravi,
philosophy.
125.
Should be such that can be summarized in one or two lines.
NGO thing was
Okay,
little-
number one, do that.
You could
Then
tell that she was
Rath
biased
Yatra,
in favor of the NGOs.
vis-a-vis the tradition of Seva yurts, there have been some discussions on this. Just go through those areas and then that COVID
Won't be below
protocol.
that.
Because side by side, that Haridwar
Kumbh
issue
Mela.
was going on. So stopping Rath Yatra and allowing that. So there were some issues about it. So that is why I put up the question to you. then because philosophy is featuring in your DAF as, what is your optional?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. So there might be some person expert in philosophy might be there, and you might be grilled on philosophy to the core. And I hope you are ready with the subject because it is your optional as well. So just be prepared on what are Upanishads, what is Advaita Vedanta, and then that philosophy of sanctions. Okay, so sanctions, if you see the need-based theory, need versus end, so actually you are troubling the larger public, the people of the nation. So there might be some questions because that is the present scenario around us, and it might be get connected to philosophy. Okay, just be prepared with that. Otherwise you do well. All the best.
Thank you.
Good. All the best.
Durga Prasad, you have done very well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Excellent performance. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
See you.
Thank you. Sir, one last question.